So I originally had a bit of a different start to this slide as of yesterday, though. I went to Cardiff and I gave a presentation, most challenging presentation I've ever had to do in my whole life. 15-year-old teen boys sitting in front of me. I had to talk to them about interviewing. And I said, "Hey guys, how's it going? I had to talk to you about interviewing." And the guy went, "Should have started with a joke." So this is the story of Brightspark. So I was a teen living in Bloemfontein when the internet collided into my life, and ironically enough, it was the same year when I had to learn how to type on a typewriter. So I was between internet literacy classes and typewriting classes. I fell in love with my first phone. So I had access to the internet for exactly 1 hour a week, and that was at school. I didn't have the internet at home, and but I had access to my phone all the time. And I'm sure you know this, but teens don't ever let their cell phones out of their sight. They sneak them into class, they sleep with them next to their beds, and if they get separated, they get massively anxious. So I was first inspired by the power technology had on somebody's life when I ran a series of computer classes during my undergrad. This is at Rhodes University. I gave a series of computer classes to some teenagers living in the local informal settlement, and it was amazing because what happened was I got to see what it was like to be right next to somebody when they used the internet for the first time. And if you've ever seen somebody use the internet for the first time, there's this moment when they realize the possibility of what they have in front of them and the power of the internet and the hardware and what it can do. So fast forward a few years, I was having a conference call with Sophia Stewart, who was then at Hearst International, and I asked her why women weren't pushing the digital boundaries in digital publishing and magazines harder and faster enough. And what she said was that the editors, who were then mostly women, who are still mostly women, didn't know how to communicate the business ideas for the magazines. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, because if there's one thing, and I know it cold, is that women are fantastic at talking. And these editors didn't know how to talk digital. And so I had a bit of an idea. If women who were the leaders in their industry aren't driving the decisions about media and digital technology, then innovation is being left mostly up to men, because they're the ones who have been dominating the sector for a long time, and they do have the language available to actually create and make things happen. And this means that a particular kind of product and service is being developed. Those that are the derivatives of these guys, stereotypes, white American males with college educations in computer science, I often have to think to myself and I wonder what Facebook would have looked like or done if it was developed by, say, an Ethiopian woman living, who was about 20 years old. For one thing, there would have been a love, irrelevant, and get over yourself button. So that's basically where my head's at the moment. So back to my first love, mobile phones. Why do I love mobile phones? I'm from South Africa. South Africa, most people experience the internet for the first time on the fourth screen. Cinema was the first, TV the second, PC the third, mobile the fourth. The other reason I'm interested in mobile phones is because I think there are doppelgangers. We don't have to look very far and wide anymore to find our doppelgangers, because we stare into them every single day. You can tell so much about a person by looking at their phone. What kind of apps they have, how expansive their contact list is, what music they listen to. Phones are interesting. Why? Because they require human agency to function, and when that happens, it means that they leave parts and traces of their owners behind. So we can learn a lot by looking at a person and what kind of phone they have. This is where my love for phones, my history with the internet, and key contact with certain individuals, how Brightspark came into being. So what is Brightspark? Brightspark is a project that I set up while sitting in a cafe one afternoon in Piccadilly Circus in November. It's a website that's built for phones in mind. It works on about 4,500 phones, and there are teens all over the world that don't have smartphones, and this is why I built Brightspark in mind, so that it works on feature phones. So Brightspark has a blogging section where people can comment. There's also an instant chat site, but the most important thing about Brightspark is about the content. I write all the content, and it's all geared towards getting girls to talk about digital and to get them talking about technology. It's a space where teens can discover and cover and investigate digital and understand how digital can wind into the narratives of their lives. Because if they want to have an option of entering into a career in digital and technology, this is the space where they can do that. Now, I know that not every teen girl wants a career in technology, and that's perfectly fine. But however, in the future, I think all careers are going to have some elements of technology involved in them. So Brightspark is a space where it tells girls how the fashion industry is changing because of digital, how journalism is changing because of digital, how global companies in accounting and law firms are creating partnerships through digital technology. It also has articles about role models in the digital space for women. So it's like Jane McGonigal, the game designer, also Donna Boyd, the researcher. There are mobile game reviews, website reviews, and also information about what coding is, the kind of different languages, and where you can go on the internet to code for free. So how do I see Brightspark's future developing? By harnessing the power of two things. First of all, SMS, or the short message service, or text, and the other thing is community radio. Because just because you don't have the internet doesn't mean that you shouldn't have quality information access and that you cannot be connected to a community who thinks like you. So with the help of community radio stations, I would really like to start setting up Brightspark Radio. And this is so that girls can get access to the information on Brightspark even if they don't have the internet. Because like I said before, just because you don't have the internet doesn't mean that you shouldn't be connected to a community who thinks like you. I'd also like to develop a database of cell phone numbers of Brightspark users, and they'll then receive an SMS with 160 characters every time there's new content up on the website. So there's two things to sum up. Building for mobile is not impossible. Don't let people tell you otherwise. It's just as easy for building for tablets and PCs, and build for everyone, not just for people with the internet. Thank you.